Mental toughness or mental discipline or a sound mind, depending upon, those are all the same thing in my estimation. It's not magic, it's mechanics. There's a way that the human mind works, and we need to understand that process of the way the mind works and tap into it and manage the process. And here's how it works. The first thing that the mind does is it focuses on things. The second thing the mind does is it talks to itself about what it focuses on. The third thing is the mind has emotion in response to focus and self-talk. And the fourth thing that happens is we behave, we act driven by how we feel. So again, here's what it is. Focus, self-talk, feeling, action. That's the mindset process. We sometimes call it the mindset cycle. Focus, what I choose to pay attention to and focus on, because the mind cannot comprehensively see, so it selectively sees. So what we choose to give our attention to and focus on is the step one. And then the mind does an amazing thing. As soon as the mind focuses on something, it immediately talks to itself about what it sees. Self-talk. Here's an interesting fact. You talk to yourself more than you talk to any other person in the world. Fact. Had a guy the other day say to himself, I don't talk to myself. I said, you just did. He goes, oh yeah. You can't help but to talk to yourself. And then this is the epiphany. This is the great revolutionary insight. Emotion is the result of focus and self-talk. Emotion is not the result of the situation. Emotion is the result of how you focus on the situation and what you say to yourself. And then emotion literally means evoke motion. Emotion is the energy to act. It's the energy to do something. So anger is the emotional energy to strike out or speak out against something. Fear is the emotional energy to move away from something. Affection is emotion to move towards something. Sadness is to sit and soak and do nothing. And so the question is, when I'm in an emotional state, should I do what that emotion wants me to do? Well, that depends on the situation. So when people experience something, whether it's practice or a game or training or interface with a player or a coach or anything, they focus, they self-talk, they feel, and then they act. And so what a sound mind is disciplined focus, disciplined self-talk to produce disciplined emotion to drive disciplined action. That's a sound mind. An unsound mind is one where my focus is undisciplined, my self-talk is negative, my feeling is counterproductive, and my behavior is less than effective. That's an unsound mind. And the really powerful thing that I hope everyone gets from this is that a sound mind is you learn to do it. It's trained. It's learned. That cycle, that focus, self-talk, feeling, action, that cycle either works for you or against you. And I think of all those and all of that, one of the disciplines, one of the ways to develop a sound mind is to, one, become very aware of your emotional state. When you're feeling negative emotion, there's a reason why. And the reason why you feel negative emotion is you've chosen to focus on something negative and talk to yourself in a negative way. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. If I feel negative emotions, negative feelings, I don't feel that way because of the situation that I'm in. I feel that way because of how I've chosen to see the situation and how I talk to myself about it. So here's the thing. If I change the focus and change the self-talk, I change the feeling. That's the pathway to a sound mind. And so look at self-talk and how powerful that is. I can talk to myself in a disciplined way, or I can talk to myself in a default way. I'm going to listen to one or two voices that I create. I can talk to myself with a disciplined voice that's positive and productive, or I can talk to myself in a negative voice that's counterproductive and default. And the voice I choose creates my emotional state, which affects what I do. So you'll notice this about people who are mentally disciplined. They pay very careful attention to their self-talk, to the internal narrative that they use. And we do a lot of training with coaches and players on how to create and sustain positive and productive self-talk to create and sustain positive and productive emotion in order to execute training, execute competition, stay focused, stay calm, stay confident, all the things that we need for a sound mind. Make sense?